Well, welcome to another Friday devotional from Catalina Foothills Church. And I'm John Miller, really hosting a study in Proverbs. And so picking up on various themes in Proverbs. And today we're going to talk about cautions for the wealthy, since Proverbs has a lot to say about money. And when it talks about wealth, it normally comes at it from a cautionary direction. So the first one I want to share with you is actually not from Proverbs, but from 1 Timothy 6:10, which says, "The love of money is the root of all sorts of evil, and some, by longing for it, have wandered away from the Christian faith and pierced themselves with many griefs." And of course, that's been misquoted over the centuries. It says the love of money is the root of all sorts of evil. Money is not evil. It's the love of it. It is a neutral vehicle. It depends on how we use it and how we approach it. So let's dive into several verses in Proverbs and see if we can pick up some principles about the caution with the idea of money. When we accumulate a fair amount of it, the concern that we need to have as we're blessed with it, so the blessing can become a curse. 21:5 Proverbs says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty." The plans of the diligent lead to profit. Being diligent in the way you approach the making of money. But some of us are hasty in wanting to amass wealth, and Proverbs, the wisdom of Proverbs, says it leads to poverty. There's a couple of verses that I couple together because they're similar in their meaning. But one is 15:17, which says, "Better a small serving of vegetables with love than a fattened calf with hatred." Better is a small serving of vegetables with love rather than a fattened calf with hatred. Another verse that's something like that in 17:1 says, "Better a dry crust with peace and quiet than a house full of feasting with strife." So, having money and having the big house and the 3-car garage, whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that all is well. I used to take our 4 boys, actually one at a time, when they were a certain age. We'd hike to the top of a mountain, sit right on the top, and we'd talk about the whole city. And I say, over here to the right of the city is South Tucson, where there's a lot of poverty, a lot of poor, and people just struggling for subsistence, just to get along. And then I say, up here in the foothills are people who are doing much better financially. But you need to know that the outer appearance doesn't always indicate what is going on inside those homes. In other words, in this area of poverty, you can have peace. You can have people who are having harmony within their home. Not that that's always the case, of course. But up in the foothills, you could have situations where there's divorce, where there's conflict, major conflict, unhappiness. And one would think on the surface that things are going just swimmingly because they have all the money they need. No, money does not cure the deepest needs of the human heart. And so I talk to the kids about the outer appearance, of things and what's really going on inside. We do that. But that's what I think is getting at by better is a dry crust with peace and quiet than a house full of feasting with strife. Money doesn't necessarily bring peace and quiet and calm and kindness into a home. Proverbs 18:11 and 12 says, "A rich man's wealth is his fortified city. It is like a high wall in his imagination. Before his downfall, a man's heart is proud, but humility comes before honor. Proverbs 18, 11, and 12. A rich man's wealth is a fortified city. So those who put their confidence or their trust in or their security in what they have monetarily or what they have in terms of possession, this verse says it can be a downfall. It can cause pride. It can make you feel secure because you have these riches. You think you're going to have them forever. But it goes on to say, but humility comes before honor. And so we need to be humble, recognizing who has provided this wealth for us, who gave us the strength, who gave us the mental capacity to earn this money. It's all of God. It's all of God. It's all a gracious gift from God, no matter how we have amassed our wealth. 23, 4 and 5 says, do not wear yourself out to get rich. Do not trust your own cleverness. Cast but a glance at riches, and they're gone. For they will surely sprout wings and fly off to the sky like an eagle. And so, don't wear. So having wealth is not wrong at all. It's wearing yourself out to get rich. That my desire is to be rich, to be wealthy. That's my goal in life. Bad goal, says the wisdom of Proverbs, because money can sprout itself like wings and fly away in a moment. And if your security rests in that, you're going to end up being a very insecure person. One of the a big win at Desert Diamond Casino or Casino del Sol can be a great loss. A great win can be a great loss. And what I mean by that is you can, and I've heard this from some people, some friends of mine, that said one of the worst things that happened to me was to win a lot at a casino, because then I thought that, wow, I can do this again and again. And I began to pour money into the slots, pour money into blackjack, and ended up losing thousands of dollars simply because I won once and thought this was easy. And you know what? That has devoured many, many people. It's just this idea of wanting to get rich quick, and one has to be so careful. 11:28 says, those who trust in their riches will fall, but the righteous will thrive like a green leaf. So where do you put your security? If your heart rate is connected like an umbilical cord to your investments, not a good idea. Because if so, then the material world owns us. I mean, it will dictate whether we are joyful or sorrowful, according to, how much wealth or how much material possession we have. And if that's so, then God is on notice not to upset the apple cart. God can actually get in the way if something happens. We're angry at God because we're losing our first love, which is our stuff, our money. So when contentment is tied to material things, we will seldom be content. So I just end with this. Hebrews 13:5 says, make sure that your character is free from the love of money, being content with what you have. For he himself has said, I will never leave you or desert you. So all the time God is saying, hey, I'm your father and I am your provider. Don't trust in this world to be your provider. I will take care of you. And I think that's good advice for us all. So I've gone way over today, and I hope you've appreciated this time together. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.